find yourselves here in the lower bracket. This is not an unfamiliar spot for you.
It is not an unfamiliar spot, and we want to get out of it.
And how are you going to do that?
By winning everything.
Do you have a little bit of sympathy after the interview with Bobo yesterday? I know that he said that you guys at Citadel are some of the only teams that did scrim ChopperMag.
They're our boys. We love them.
But you're still going to beat them?
Of course.
Well then, give it up for your world champions looking to make it two-time Na'Vi! They fought their way through the lower bracket twice at the mid-seasons, able to take their win through the play-ins barely, and then fought their way all the way through the lower bracket to make their way to that grand final and take the win. But there are opponents making an incredible run. The sole representative of OCE. Please, Mel, join me in one.
Yeah, we're obviously looking for sponsor, so heading into next year. If you like us, obviously we're the most fun team to watch, and I think we're going to win.
And Bobo already mentioned that.
Welcome everyone to the Marvel Rivals Ignite Series Grand Finals. I'm one of your co-casters for the day. I run Shiv here with my co-cast, America Man?
Yes, Shiv, that is 100% correct. America, the best region in the world, the best region in the entire country. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't matter, Shiv. Regardless, XQC was on our desk today. He always boasts how he was top 6 all time in the hero shooter genre. Hey, what the? Shit.
I want my friend back! I want my friend back!
All right, sorry, XQC was actually top 6 all time, one of the greatest hero shooter players in the history of heroes. But regardless, Shiv, moving forward, we have an incredible matchup today. We saw the story with Bobo on the desk, and what a beautiful one it is in ChopperMag. And also going from scrim partners to competitors today, maybe they have decided to create one of the biggest and strongest teams out there in the entire world.
Yeah, ChopperMag versus Na'Vi. This is another elimination match. All coming down to this. A ton of talent, a team known for innovation, and a team now known for getting a ton of new fans and support. I think this is going to be heartbreaking either way, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what these teams can do.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a fun one just because we get to finally see what's been happening in those scrim blocks. That would mean both of these teams have a lot of time and experience against each other, and taking a look at the stage shit, we get a look at Naga alongside Jerky. Jerky, that new duelist in this roster to replace Melio and Citadel, who is now out of the tournament, right? Europe in general, if we talk about them, they are really one of the strongest regions in this game, if not the strongest, because of how many teams made it to the top 6, right? And now we have to see if Na'Vi can make it past ChopperMag with them on this roster. That they appear to be one of the best teams in Australia and in the entire world. So showing up for that region that maybe is underrepresented.
And both of these teams have huge hero pools. They all are not afraid to run those unique compositions, and you kind of mentioned there, Melio and Jerky, both of which can run very similar heroes and to a very high level. Similar with when you go look at Skittles and Fate, who both can run a mean Jeff. And you know, Fate is one of those who actually developed that strategy and looked insane in the mid-season worlds, bringing it all the way here. But again, you have to win to move on. Best of 5, first to 3. I'm ready to dive in.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we just saw Rogero on screen. I mean, he's definitely one of the most underrated Vanguard players in the entire game. Consistent. Both Mantises getting removed off the rip. We've heard about this a ton. Mantis being one of the strongest heroes. And every team here, I think, left is really good at the Mantis comp, so makes a lot of sense why you'd ban it, go for the Jeff Protect. Psylocke ban to make sure that Bobo can't play that hero, which we've seen him do so well on.
Yeah, Psylocke removal, we might see that, try to be matched on the other side, and they will both be locking in that Jeff, as I just discussed, can be played at an insanely high level, especially here in Hell's Heaven, where there's a lot of off-map potential. And these teams, I have no doubt we will see a few huge It's Jeffs.
Yeah, I think that Jeff right now has to be one of the highest skill cap characters in the game, which is crazy. I mean, if not the strongest character in terms of how well you can play the hero at a certain, sort of performance level. Like we saw earlier, we saw Millennia almost get that huge Jeff ult off the map, ran out of time, didn't save the team, and Angela and a bunch of heroes came out of his mouth and unfortunately lived for his squad. Meanwhile, ChopperMag focusing on those Vanguards. We've seen a ton of these Venom bans against Na'Vi and against a lot of the other squads as well, really focusing on Vanguards as well, removing Rogero's Emma Frost, so focusing on those heroes opposite side, maybe focusing on the duelists on the team Na'Vi.
Yeah, and we've even seen Trust Me run that Emma, so I kind of like what I'm seeing here in terms of their ban strategy from ChopperMag. That is really aggressive. In the past, there's been some success getting rid of that Cap and Venom, but they always were able to get that Emma through. So instead, they're going to be locking in the Jeff and the Bucky here. So we'll see how that works out. But again, Na'Vi, a team that is very cerebral. Maybe this will work out.
Yeah, Na'Vi in the past as well. We're really focusing on Emma Frost, specifically when we go to combo and conversion, so pay attention to that for later, as trust me, maybe he's decided to change his banning order. They want the Bucky mismatch. Same thing with ChopperMag going for that Emma Frost mismatch, even though Psylocke was banned on the opposite side, so they don't get that team up. Bucky's team up in the other angle, not banned, obviously, but that's because Captain America and Bucky, that team up is necessarily not the strongest. It's not something you have to worry about. Same thing with the Thing and Human Torch, right? Not really at the pro level of this game, something that is utilized too much, but we're about to head into it, shit. We're going to our first map of the day, which is Hell's Heaven versus two absolutely insane teams. Who would have thought you would see in top 6 ChopperMag versus Na'Vi? It's gonna be a fun one, man.
Again, just these teams have just garnished a lot of new fans. And yeah, you know, when it comes to that team up with Cap, I think we saw it maybe twice just to try to drop back and use it as an escape tool, but you gotta have a lot of communication to even make that work, as we will be sending it here into our first map. And we'll see a little bit of Angela play just because the vanguards from the side of Na'Vi have been completely removed.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Vangela is a hero that got buffed in the previous patch and was already really strong. I think that she wasn't necessarily seen as one of the strongest characters in the game, but when you play her in this high of a level, it's the coordination that results in her being so strong, right? She obviously has the combo. If you hit the left click first and then you kind of combo it together with a melee weave alongside a fully charged spear. But regardless, now we get to see Na'Vi against ChopperMag, and it's what you said, Shiv. ChopperMag, one of the story teams, one of the most interesting stories of this game and of the grand finals, against Na'Vi, who were the mid-season champions. So are they gonna write a new chapter in terms of Na'Vi, or is ChopperMag gonna start a whole new damn book?
And an aggressive portal play comes in here now for Pethig, pulling out those crystals early from Skittles. Team's gonna walk on point, but at this point Na'Vi's already set up there. No major success. Oh, as it does separate the team a little bit, but everybody's gonna drop back low on the front side. Rajaro gonna find Duef early on in this fight, and that puts Na'Vi up 1 so far. Make it 2 as Naga takes out Zenstari, and they are walking them backwards. Pethig finds one onto Crook, but Jerky gonna be taking out Bobo, and that's that duel we expect to see a lot throughout this whole matchup.
And a little staggerage onto Pethig as well. I mean, just added pain to what just happened in the previous fight, and it's kind of what happens for Team Na'Vi. They were one of the originators. I think Moxie's brought it up. You also saw in stage 1 of the EMEA region, they were one of the first teams to start playing this Jeff. Fate, one of the best Jeffs in the entire game, and you can see why that surround was so clean. But now, this is where the real fight starts. Ultimate's online. You're going to be playing still a 2-2-2 style versus both squads. Jerky already falls to Skittles, though.
Yeah, that early pick like that, Skittles plays a very aggro Jeff, and just going to kind of be set up there. Pethig now going to be on that Daredevil, building ults like you said. Naga going to be the first one with an available Kraken impact. Seen a lot of success over the last 3 matches with that ultimate. Now diving towards the backline, Zenstari tries to make a play. Naga turns backwards, notice the team is still healthy, and retakes once more towards the front line. Punch onto Pethig, out goes that dance of the butterfly that finds Fidel, puts them up a number once again. Level 1 Crook onto Skittles, still holding on to this point, and this is exactly what they're looking for here from Na'Vi.
Yeah, Naga's just been so consistent so far, and that's what Naga's strength is, right? We saw it mid-season how good he was on flexing out of Phoenix last second, picking up that hero. Now coming into it, Na'Vi only with their duelist ultimates popping off, and that's sort of the thing with Na'Vi. They're trying to change up the tempo, dive on a Venom early.
And the next fight begins, but at this point, 70% on here for Na'Vi, and they're just known for stalling this point. They do have ult advantage, too, as they've only committed Jerky and Naga, and now Trust Me on towards the back line. Still not too much value there. ChopperMag going to have letting the devil out and start up here with a freedom charge potentially. Could pull out of a cooldown there from Naga. Another early pick once more here from Na'Vi. Every single fight is starting off in their favor, making it very difficult for them to take this space back. 90% on and counting.
I mean, they able to come back with that freedom charge, but regardless, they'll get ran on. I mean, here comes that see you later from them too, committed on top. They have to find eliminations. BRB will bring back Skittles, but they're down Bubble. That's a lot of the damage. Pethig needs the follow-up from somebody like that, Phoenix, to help collapse on these eliminations. There's that Devil out committed by Pethig. Maybe they can find some eliminations off of it. They commit the dance floor, or sorry, the dance floor butterflies from Jerky, able to take down Pethig too. Jerky and Rajaro coming together with that Meteor M2 Shiv. I mean, that beautiful combination of them results in Na'Vi winning that first map.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it looked a little bit like ChopperMag are playing on their heels right now, maybe a little nervous, thinking that ban may have worked out for them a little more than it did, and that map definitely looked pretty good there from the side of Na'Vi, who did have a lot of off-map potential, making it a little more dicey to walk forward, especially when Angela is just lurking above you on every entrance.
Angela's kind of been a menace, and trust me, was one of the best Venom players that we saw at midseason. Now coming into it, one of the best Angela players as well. And there's been a lot of really good ones. I mean, it's been tough to really determine who the best is. It's a matter of the team environment. I mean, they were so practice ship.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Trust Me had mentioned to me that he was struggling a little bit with Cap at the mid-season, but now clearly has been working on it. Every team is trying to ban out that Venom and Cap, and forcing that every single time gives your team a huge advantage to run some other sort of composition and get away with some of these duelists that maybe would have been banned out in the past.
Yeah, great point. And this team right now is looking incredibly strong, right? We're going to have to see how ChopperMag kind of rebuttal against it, because that was pretty much one-sided. It was a really tough map, I think, for Na'Vi there, or sorry, for ChopperMag there. They're going to have to figure things out. They're switching Pethic over to Adam Warlock, playing a triple composition versus Na'Vi, who's going for another TP play.
We need to see ChopperMag wake up here, but the portal play coming in from Na'Vi, and the kidnap comes through, and that will look like it does find one onto Pethic. Really smart play there. Jeff going under through the teleport. Hard to hear that one coming, as it will find Fidel with no escape. Will that be able to land a KO? Looks like no, as Pethic going to clean up Fate there, and the retake potential is very much alive, as ChopperMag only lost Warlock, who res right back.
Yeah, they can turn it though, right? Kraken impact available. Meteor M not in the fight. Meanwhile, ChopperMag kind of walking in, getting all that damage with the sparks onto the back line, but regardless, pulled in. There's that Kraken impact alongside the pulls from Angela, setting up that Bucky well.
Yeah, Naga with one, does have reset available. Again, Na'Vi even being down a number in that, kind of take and own the space, make it terrifying to move forward. Bang goes another, but it does not obviously land, just essentially used there, hoping anyone would turn the corner. We do see from this perspective where everyone's located, they don't have any of that view at the current moment there. We see Rajaro owning this space.
Yeah, Rajaro kind of just pressuring out the main side, and at the moment, I mean, ChopperMag's not looked like they've had any semblance of space. Zen Starry tries to go in. He's been sort of a star player of the squad in Duet. There we go. There's the follow-up on the point.
And out goes the invisible boundary. Will it be matched right back? Jerky gonna find Pethic early on. Again, the trade comes through. Naga is down at the moment. Res available for Pethic. Fidel gonna bring out the dance floor. The fate of both worlds keeping the team healthy. There is a lot of answers here for the side of ChopperMag, who need to take this point back quickly, or Na'Vi are going to do exactly what they expected. A team that's looking incredible right now. Duep gonna commit here with a Sonic Seduction, finds two. Will they be able to commit? Yes, they do. Three go down at ChopperMag. Look like they will have an opportunity to take this point back at 55%.
Clean work from ChopperMag, finally online, finally getting value out of Emma Frost ship. Like, they go for that ban protect system in the beginning with that Emma Frost, getting value out of it finally, and that Bucky mismatch has been tough for them. We'll see if they could deal it in the upcoming fights. On this triple composition, Pethic's also going to set up for this res. Team going to go in and try to int, as maybe they can come back with that resurrect from Pethic. However, Na'Vi's going to build up ultimates in that fight.
Yeah, we've seen Duet play a very mean Emma Frost in the past, but right now there's just no one that he's able to get hands on at the current moment. But good all there. Bobo gonna find Naga in an off angle with a melee. Not eyes yet, but they're still up in numbers. ChopperMag gonna hold this choke and keep trying to bide as much time as possible, get even out here in the percentage. Bobo dropping back once more. Team still looking all right in terms of their HP pool across both sides. Na'Vi taking the space back as Jerky now finds Fidel, which is a huge pick at the start of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming back with that res from Pethic, though, so everybody's still sticking to the original game plan of go in, die, come back to the point now, stay contested there as they contest with that Emma Frost.
Yeah, and that is good commitment. Again, we talk about using that ult and fully committing as a team. Everybody is back in the fight, but could this be a huge itch Jeff? Matched again by both sides. Almost gets dunked on, but it does pull out a cooldown. It still doesn't fall as Bobo gonna find Fate, but Fate gets a two-piece. Trust me, on a Fidel. Bobo once more on a Jerky. 52%, but again, the retake from Na'Vi had them counting at 70%.
Yeah, this is the tough part with Adam Warlock, is you give up objective presence, and that's so important on domination. Rajaro coming through with the follow-up alongside. We saw, Trust Me, now they also put the invisible boundary. Fidel committing that dance floor. They have to win now, but they're down members of their team.
Yeah, the dance floor is out as discussed, and so is Emma with that Psionic getting a few walking as Rajaro goes down. Zen Starry with a nice pick there. Following up from Duepu, has some good aim out of Fate, but good movement once more by Fate. Very practiced. Naga onto Bobo. Jerky onto Pethic. And Na'Vi at 94%. That is going to be a one-fight game. ChopperMag needs to hold on and build these ults quickly.
Wow, and Jerky and Naga in the neutral just doing so much. And we've heard this meta sort of like a deathmatch meta. And Jerky finally capitalizing alongside Naga, the duelist of Na'Vi, putting the team on their back to flip the point once again.
Yeah, Jerky and Naga looking insane right now on the second point here. Duep in a dangerous spot. Gets booped away and is chased down here by Naga, who gets that pick once more in these neutrals. Down goes the Itch Jeff. Jerky onto Pethic, and once more again, these duelists finding so much value.
We've heard a lot about how good some of the other, Daredevils are. Naga coming in, trying to collapse on this squad of ChopperMag. They don't have a portal, I believe they used it earlier, so everybody's kind of coming in desperation at the moment out of them for good reason, because Na'Vi wins map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, that looked textbook from the side of Na'Vi. I have no doubt we will see a change-up in bans here. Looking very confident. Again, a team we talk about all the time, potentially meta-creating team, a team that comes up with these compositions and everyone just says, hey, we should probably try that, right? And this team is no stranger to just walking down the enemy line. ChopperMag's got to bounce back here and change something up.
Yeah, I mean, they played so well in terms of Na'Vi and ChopperMag on the opposite side. We saw some life out of them, but the Adam Warlock comp was interesting, right? We saw in that last fight when they eventually gave up that point, you saw them give it up, right? Come back for that res. They didn't even expect themselves to find a pick. That changed the game plan. You can see communication sort of got thrown up in the air there a little bit because they were trying to play around the res. They gave up the point at some during that fight, and at the moment, Na'Vi taking full advantage. Taking a look at Jerky, though. What a handsome man, right? Kind of living up to his name. As on the opposite side, right, we do have ChopperMag trying to come back. They have to figure out that map type, like you said. They have to figure out a map they have to pick between combo and conversions.
Yeah, I mean, letting that Psylocke through, and Jerky with 14 finals, 16k damage. Next closest being 11 on the opposition with Bobo, who did switch over there to Fist at the end just to try to retake on touch. But no, Jerky and Naga, again, just absolutely popping off 9 finals. Rajaro with 9, I think is slept on. And we heard some conversation with some of these teams saying Rajaro, as a whole, in the Vanguard front, hasn't really been focused ban, but maybe deserves to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Taking a look back at the map, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these highlights because it was all Na'Vi, and Rajaro was able to find that first pick, like you mentioned. Yeah. Interesting fact about Rajaro is his brother has come to every single one of these LAN events right here at Atlanta, Georgia, here at DreamHack, by the way. So if you're in the crowd, make some noise for DreamHack Atlanta because, Team Na'Vi, he's been there all throughout, right? Rajaro going to China. He's been in Rajaro's back pocket right here supporting him, right? That's a great story, I think, as Na'Vi has a lot of supporting family members as well with their squad.
Yeah, and that just gives you that extra bit of hope. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay confident here, and you want to show up for everybody in the crowd and the loved ones that come with you. But I'll tell you what, Na'Vi, wow, that was a dominant performance. It never didn't have it kind of vibe right there.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, you saw how well they played, right? It's interesting. There's a lot of stats in this game that I think are kind of misconstrued sometimes. Like, you can take a look at all of these stats and sort of make your own points, cherry pick whatever you want. But I was talking to Mega Milani from the side of Dark Zero. He mentioned how, it's hard to find a good stat in this game, especially in this meta, because where, it's sort of this incredibly brawly, people switching back and forth and sort of relying on these neutrals. We're trying to figure out kind of what the exact stat you could utilize is in terms of casualties divided by like damage taken and stuff. But talking about Jerky, I mean, this guy has been living up to an incredible level right now. I mean, he's been getting better and better, and so have the duelists of Na'Vi. Everybody talked about how he had big shoes to fill in Melio, now on Citadel, and he's been filling them incredibly well. Such a great player, flexible player to build alongside Naga, who is kind of a very consistent mainstay in Team Na'Vi.
And again, Jerky coming in as a new member to this team. It was not there in that mid-season where he did not take the title, but comes in and just looks incredibly strong, fits right into the shoes of Melio, and is performing in every single one of these matches.
Yeah, he's kind of, this duo too is just incredibly good, right? Like, they can flex on most things this patch, and that was going to be an interesting thing, is how does Jerky fill into the shoes of Melio, especially when they looked pretty good in that Ultron meta, and Jerky was also playing a ton of it. But I know Jerky is a really good Psylocke player alongside of pretty much all those flex heroes, so he's been so good. Now we're headed to Central Park, the map number 2, which, by the way, I want to point out, we did a giveaway. Just a little gripe I have. We did a giveaway for our crowd earlier, if I'm not mistaken. That first map was actually Central Park. So if you got that wrong earlier in the crowd, you weren't there for that stream, but man, you gotta figure out the maps, dude. Come on.
Yeah, as you start up there, you do get to see the home of the Acorn Queen herself, as we now are going to dive right into the draft. And Na'Vi going to be removing that Mantis, which is just a staple of what they're known to do. But ChopperMag says, I don't want to deal with the Jeff anymore.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that Jeff on this map is terrifying, and we've already heard how good Fate is. We saw how good Fate is on that Jeff, besides one fight when he got an eat, and then everybody's focusing on him. But that's what kind of happens in these sort of brawly kind of compositions. ChopperMag also going for their Emma Frost save, showing that card not once but twice. So Na'Vi are going to have to change things because of the ban of Jeff instead of Mantis. But regardless, ChopperMag are trying to mix it up, and JMac too, the coaches of Na'Vi, with his excellent camera shot, kind of being the help in terms of the brains behind this squad, as you know, both teams trust me. Obviously, the captain of Na'Vi picking a lot of those bans, and Bobo on the other side for ChopperMag deciding their own.
Yeah, there's a lot of comm leads on these teams, and in terms of communication, how this is run, there's alt tracking, there's fight planning, and then there's bans, and everybody has a different role in how that works. Sometimes one person is handling all of that, and a lot of the side of Na'Vi is driven by Trust Me, like you'd mentioned. But when you look over on the other side of ChopperMag, Skittles does a good job of that, and so does Duet. They kind of share the load a bit. Bobo helps with fight planning, and everybody kind of peppers in a little bit of comms in every fight to ensure they can make some big plays happen. So it's up for debate. What's the better style of comms, whether it's, you know, having one leader or everybody peppering in?
Yeah, it's kind of yeah, like you mentioned, it is up for debate, and we'll see kind of as the meta progresses, as these teams get better, what kind of goes on. Because as we mentioned, we talked to Mega Milani earlier, as that Bucky is protected. We'll see on the opposite side that Jeff kind of come through on that ban phase. Bucky ban against the Loki protect for Team Na'Vi, showing that Loki at the very end of the draft. That'll be interesting moving forward, as this is a 1st to 3. But Mega Milani for Dark Zero was mentioning how this game is kind of a Wild West right now. I mean, every team kind of getting better. It's only been a year, basically. So in this esport, it's so young. We're at the very beginning, and ChopperMag to be here as an unsigned team is an incredible story, but they're against Na'Vi, who are already starting to build their legacy. If they could maybe take home another trophy.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see Na'Vi running something cheeky like that Mantis Loki, and maybe having Adam or something along those lines just for the extra damage boost that it is available for them, and it looks like they were floating it for a moment. We'll see if they go back to that after they grab those armor packs from Rocket, but we will be starting up here on Central Park, where you can see the ritual beginning.
This is a fun map too, Shit, because ChopperMag obviously lost it to Dark Zero, who is now out of the tournament, but ChopperMag outside of that have been really good on Central Park, right? This team, incredibly well practiced here. They sort of have that consistency, especially through Bobo getting better as the tournament has gone on. Flexing on, do a lot of things, building up the Adam Warlock repertoire. You can see they have a specific game plan, but Na'Vi, they have been really good on these convergent maps as well.
A little fun lore fact. You can see Ratatosker there being chained up and, you know, ensuring that they can't stop the ritual from Dracula, so you will free Ratatosker, who turns into the point here as you move through this convergence map. Trust me, going to be pressing forward. Skittles on the high side with a clone, gets burned instantaneously, as you should, against some of this equipment that heroes can put out, including group walls and Namor Squids. Rajaro going to take this offside angle, try to play off the left here, and they are going to be pushed back with some great positioning on height up there on the top right by Pethic.
I mean, it's smart positioning, force down everybody on his right side. We always see Pethic do it too. Sometimes we see teams sort of capitalize on it with some aggressive plays, and there it is. Rocket pack from Majaro to sort of scouting it out, forcing out Pethic, and that sort of team up alongside him at Frost. A lot of cooldowns used, in fact, on top of that chip. So they're walking up. They need to sort of take advantage of every cooldown being popped out of ChopperMag, especially the long ones.
Fidel pulling in the side of Na'Vi there, but it almost turned out to go against them. But as I say that, Duet gonna find one and try to keep the numbers in their advantage here on defense.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens after this quick pause. Right now, Na'Vi and ChopperMag seems to be like this could be a close one, because ChopperMag popping all those cooldowns, able to kind of keep up that fight strategy win. And, you know, they were just kind of pressing them back, right? Na'Vi was against ChopperMag. However, ChopperMag able to find the pick. Bobo, we talk about how good he is. The rest of the squad playing around him so well, finding those pickoffs, as well as Rajaro kind of doing so much on the other side. But Pethic consistently holding the high ground, able to find those KOs when they mattered most.
Yeah, I like that angle there. It's not something we see all the time. We talk about taking height and off angles, and what that does is it forces your team to look in different directions, and your strategists who are maybe getting peppered from that height have to look upwards instead of forwards, which can put them in danger, including your front line in danger. And we are going to be diving right back into it. Why not start up immediately, as Bobo is going to try to take that height with Pethic.
Yeah, and right now they're doing that well. I mean, just consistently pressing the back with that pick onto Rajaro, kind of pushing the back on that right side flank. The rotation by Na'Vi up to the high ground. It's quick, it's fast. We'll see what happens with Rajaro. He's going to come back from spawn. Does ChopperMag want to try to take him out? No, there's a Rudolph actually waiting as Rajaro walks back from spawn.
That was an awesome group play there. Group play, if you will, from the height. Just balling out from downtown. A half-court shot is going to find a few, but immediately going to be transferred right back in. Natus, who can be CC'd mid-ult, is going to walk in with that resurgence, but nobody going down as that will keep them healthy. Goodbye to that overhealth here as Jerky now, on the same team is going to launch in. Level 1 Crook now going to match that back with the resurgence. Bobo reses Skittles back in the fight. Everybody's got to commit now as Bobo did use that revival.
I mean, Pethek's trying to go down, not trying to get healed up, make sure they get res. No! That's just right as that resurrect ends, so Dwep went down early, Pethek falls too, and they don't even have their res back up.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. You've got to commit quickly. Once that Karmic Revival goes through, your team has to heavily ride in together, and those picks come through. Skittles now is going to find a res with the entire team here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to go back for that. Now here comes that Meteor M for Pethek into the res, and Naga goes down, but he has the Cocoon passive, so he's going to keep everybody alive if they go down.
Rajaro up with the Meteor M, bang, it comes down, but the Soul Bond and those crystals gonna keep them up. Fate with some good positioning, but gets dove on quickly. Pethek gonna find that pick as Dwep gets one as well. Walking in as Jerky, now takes out Pethek and Starry onto Trust Me, and the defense will be held.
And it's fine as you go down in that situation, as this double res composition, you have Bobo on Adam Warlock, you have Skittles on the Loki, has been so strong right now against Team Na'Vi, who are adapting, they're figuring things out, they're going over to the Star-Lord Rocket team up, keeping the Mantis alongside it and having Jerky now going over to that Phoenix as well, keeping on the Phoenix on that Ensong Eternal very soon. But right now, ChopperMag, huge hold from them so far. We'll see if they keep it up since Starry has had the perfect time trailing prisons, and Bobo's reses have been massive at keeping this team in the fights.
Yeah, and cleaning up what we were talking about before, if you do have that double res, you can be aggro with the res, so not a bad idea there from Bobo. Out goes those heals early on. You do get them back quickly with headshots, as Bobo now is going to keep the pressure. The team is still holding on as Bond gets committed, which is a huge cooldown. And Starry taking that space, still holding on here to that strangling prison. Jerky in a dangerous spot. Dwep finds Naga. Trust Me with a pick as Pethek takes out Trust Me, but Fate gonna res Naga back. Bobo gonna bring the team back as well, as everybody is starting this fight once more.
And Skittles has his copy still, so with the God of Mischief, he can still go on to his Adam Warlock, bring everybody back, but he goes for the Invisible Woman. They're on to the point as well. They're trying to out-sustain Na'Vi, who don't have much. Rajaro coming back on the Meteor M, maybe can connect with Trust Me, Speaks to the Abyss.
Might as well be Marvel Zombies out here, because nobody is going down. And when they do, they come right back. Dwep gonna find Naga. Naga gonna find Fidel, trading it right back at them as the Meteor M in a dangerous spot with a great block there. Potentially Dwep popping that shield at the last second, as I believe the Magneto shield fell down. Bobo onto Fate. Jerky onto Bobo, though. And once more, the numbers are even out here. 3 seconds on, they have to touch one, and they do start the OT.
Crook goes down
on the high side. Dunks right onto Crook. Do I see two, Pethek? Yes, I do, as Bobo is gonna self-res, and it's looking dicey here. And the portal needs to come through. Will it? We'll find out shortly.
No, I mean, he's still on the point, so he can't. Naga goes down. He's going to fall. 13 seconds. Overtime. ChopperMag have first held Na'Vi on their first defense ship, and it's the Vanguards, man. The Vanguards are so good on ChopperMags, and Starry is huge. You saw Dwep, the reason why they protected that Emma Frost. You're an Emma Frost player, Shib. You saw how well he did, just constantly getting trades for his team when they needed him most.
Yeah, and then he had Pethek there, on that high side. Again, for those who maybe don't know Pethek, old FMCL, who we've seen play Magic at midseason, and some more unique picks, even like Daredevil, running the Vanguard line. Really versatile, which I think is very helpful in this meta. And Bobo and the double res from Skittles. This was a tough comp to get through.
Yeah, it really was, Shib. You're right. And ChopperMag, what a way to set up your attack now, right? 70% of the board. Now, you can be somewhat scared, however, because, you know, on the stage, the nerves, XQC talked about earlier, so did our amazing desk alongside Ryan and Cozy. They mentioned how, you know, you can sort of collapse, and we always talk about it, Shib, you mentioned it, you know, you can collapse under the nerves. We saw Na'Vi almost choke away a first-point hold.
Pethek with 10 finals too? I mean, and again, you look at the damage, right? 7K damage. That doesn't mean it didn't play the best. That just means it wasn't peppering the front line. Instead, it was very targeted damage towards the back line, not allowing them to overheal it and not having to just pump damage consistently, feeding those strategy assaults. Very targeted damage is what you're looking for. You want to get those finals really well played, as now you'll be jumping onto that duelist role. Definitely looking like a star in this map right now.
And Na'Vi, right? Their backs against the wall, 70% of the board. This is a first to 3, so it's only a map in this series of Marble Rivals. Na'Vi, right? They have to hold for an incredibly long time. We've seen it before. We've seen it done by top-tier teams. Can they do it now in the different composition alongside the Loki and these dives from Trust Me on Venom?
Yeah, Trust Me's Venom is definitely scary, but I think he's going to be on that Bucky to help peel that back line. And there goes the Crystal cooldown early on there from Na'Vi. And they will try to press forward. They're staying as a group here. ChopperMag might take this offside angle and head up towards the left. They will together right now. It looks like Duep is going to own that charge, but
when they have to play aggressive, Shiv, that's the thing. When this Mantis compositions, they want to set up Trust Me's dive, set him up with a damage boost, but it's going to be incredibly aggressive, and once they run out of that sort of space, out of the momentum, I would be a little bit worried for their comp.
Yeah, and I think them taking this indoor angle makes it much harder for Trust Me to get value on those dives like you were just talking about. So Trust Me now going to be on the point. Out goes Crystal once more here from the side of Fate of Na'Vi. A very strong Loki player. Everybody grouped up on point. It's a brawl fest as out goes that Bond and Crystals now from the side of Skittles, who does have that copy available. Down goes the Ansong Inferno towards the back line, and Jerky going to be the first pick there on a Bobo, who should have res.
Yeah, it makes sense. So we got Sparks onto him, able to come down with that Ansong Inferno to get extra damage. Now they have to kind of come back with that res. Bobo not close to his necessarily. ChopperMag building up both Skittles with a copy over. Na'Vi still in it as well with their own Resurrect too.
Yeah, and this is just an absolute brawl fest here downtown. Rajaro onto Fidel. What a shot there from Na'Vi as Fate now takes out Bobo. Jerky on a Pething, and the numbers are falling here for ChopperMag.
And shit, they didn't even get a tick, man. So moving forward, Na'Vi, huge defense from them, huge job on that point, swapping off with this composition, have done it so well. Bobo, a big worry for me for Team ChopperMag. Wait, Trust Me off the map, by the way, going even further. I don't know, that was crazy, but regardless, End Story finding Fate is interesting. They have to use the res. Yeah, Naga has to use the res to bring the two players who just fall off the map.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe was looking for a stagger, but not able to make that work. So in fear of giving alt charge, dropped off. We'll have to figure out how that just worked out. But again, the retake once more goes to show you folks, you can stay composed even in scary situations. We just saw Na'Vi, while the entirety of ChopperMag was on point, play it slow and just touch point, not even giving a single tick.
That was interesting. Maybe calm wine trying to figure it out. Here comes the Doodle from Zentori. He likes to go for these aggressive ones. And the Sonic Seduction. Jerky healed up, but still goes down.
Duet with the early pick there to the Psionic. A second walking here from Trust Me. The targeted damage gets the pick. But there was a board again as Fate brings back Jerky and Trust Me. And again, the commitment from that team to fully res up after these picks is exactly what they were looking for, as Bobo now is going to start the Karmic Revival. Everybody is back in this fight as Jerky takes out Skittles and Pethig. But there they are once more, folks, back on this point. Jerky on a Duet. Bobo bringing Duet back, and the fight has been completely reset.
Na'Vi's actually doing a good job, though. They've built another Resurrect. Skittles has the copy. At the moment, they're just getting pressed hard by Na'Vi with this pace of play. It's huge.
And there goes the Kraken impact up with a Meteor M from Rajaro. Bang! Down goes Fidel. Naga onto Bobo. Jerky on his End Story, and that is some huge commitment, even after some answers there from the strategist.
Skittles using the invis boundary instead of a res is really brutal if you want to see that on ChopperMag. They might be choking it, Shib. I mean, they got a tick and a half. This is going to be an incredibly close last fight. Naga has his res available. Fade's going to have the copy if they want to go for their own. Ansong Inferno, they've been big with it every time, too. So, ooh, this is looking real dicey for ChopperMag now, and you thought it was in their hands at the beginning of their attack.
Yeah, this is where that pressure can make diamonds or can just absolutely nuke your team. And right now, we're seeing a little bit of that nerves coming in from ChopperMag that definitely should be looking forward. Jerky with a huge Ansong Inferno. It says it's not over yet and just pops off here and just cleans up ChopperMag, who are down 3 numbers in this final fight.
Oh, he uses Ringling Present, finds one at least. Portal plays coming in just a second. Overtime spawns mean that they're going to be taking a little bit to come back. Naga brings back his team as well. Whoever just fell will not only come back, but with overhealth. Bobo's Portal isn't this. They don't have it. They used it earlier. And it's going to get kicked down. And ChopperMag do touch last second. Fidel is there, but it's over. And now Na'Vi are up 2 in an incredibly unlikely situation.
Textbook Warlock play right there from Na'Vi, with team just so composed in communication in those fights. That's just a testament to that calm lead there from Trust Me. Everybody stayed calm and collected, played team plays, big team plays, and just pushed them and held them That was insane.
You brought it up earlier, it's that experience from Na'Vi. I mean, they just have so much of it, right? It's easy to kind of fall back on that. Jerky, though, didn't, right? Jerky has been around, but he has been showing up for this team. And I'm really curious what the desk has to say about that later, because that was such a huge comeback from Na'Vi in that. I mean, it's never over till it's over, right? 100 Thieves is another team that has that resiliency that Na'Vi has. It's sort of those intangibles.
Sure. They
can do it. Anybody can't. Fate looking right at the camera, obviously. He knows what they just did. I mean, it was an incredibly unlikely thing, but Na'Vi have done it, right? It's huge for them moving forward. And trust me, switching to Venom was a big part of that. And this man right here on your screen is starting to turn into a star right before our very eyes.
Absolutely. Jerky, again, with the MVP there, looking so clean. Doesn't matter the hero. They banned out that Psylocke, coming right back in with Phoenix and taking it. Is just a testament to that hero Ocean. Can't ban me out. I'll still take that MVP.
He's so good. I mean, right now, looking back at the highlights too, it's going to be all one point, right? It always feels like teams sort of play down to each other sometimes, right? Like, we'll see if we look back at the 100 Thieves series versus Citadel, we saw on the new map, Heart of Heaven, that went so long, and both teams just were absolutely brawling. Same thing here on a single point shift. In Marvel Rivals, this just goes to show anything can happen no matter where you are in the map. It's still possible, it's still comebackable, and Na'Vi proved that there. And now, Shiv, they are up 2 in this series, looking to close it out on match point. But you know, if any team could do it, I bet you everybody in the crowd, everybody knows ChopperMag could definitely reverse sweep here.
We talk about 100 Thieves having the clutch gene, and Na'Vi is another one of those teams being held there on point 1 with not even halfway on the 3rd tick, and stopping them before the 1st tick in the first 2 fights, knowing they had time, even losing a couple fights there with a perfect res. It's all about communication with these Warlock comps, and I think that's what Na'Vi showed. They have a little bit better comps.
And I have a question for you, Shib. I mean, Emma Frost, right? You see how this team plays with the Adam Warlock, and they relied heavily on Duep. It felt like on attack, Duep couldn't get anything going. I mean, is Emma Frost just how she plays? I mean, it's more of a defensive hero for sure, right?
Yeah, Emma Frost is great in the neutral, but that ultimate, that Sonic Seduction, is very much just a setup ultimate. You need to have commitment from the team, and when you're banking more on that res comp and trying to make plays through Groot, it doesn't have that much value. We saw a couple picks, but the res came right through, and the fight started once more, and they could not get it done as we now toss it over to the analyst desk.
Be one of the best defenses I have seen in a moment this big, and played a huge part in, well, the clock striking midnight pretty soon for his Cinderella stories, or so it seems, because don't let the win-loss fool you. This has been absolutely razor thin. Ryan, they let Mantis through. They had that hold, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it felt like Na'Vi got the stuff that they wanted with having like the Adam Loki comp where you could just sort of keep these ultimates going. Soul Resurgence is really nice to copy too. So it really was a case of I really enjoyed what ChopperMag did with the draft, trying to go after, okay, if you want to play triple strategist, we're going to go for Jerky's character. To the point that he's playing Jean Grey, which, by the way, the voice actor is in DreamHack as well, Atlanta. So she's probably thrilled that we're seeing a bit more playtime of her character. But since last patch, the pick rate has dropped off. Jerky still getting an MVP on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, on the opposition of Bobo and all the fans, they have Jerky, the new stud on this team, is the equal opposition, right? Just take a look at the stats as you see here, and just the incredible display of resilience. Again, once again, Na'Vi and the hold they were able to pull off. Listen, Matsy, obviously you represent the LAN down under perfectly here. What does ChopperMag need to do? Because they're getting right there. It's just finishing with the exclamation point.
Yeah, they just need to really play into their strengths here. You know, you thought Central Park would be one of their strengths, but then Na'Vi managed to steal it all away from them. Like, they managed to full hold them all the way on that first checkpoint there. And then Na'Vi, they just did it even better. So ChopperMag, they need to lock it down, try and dive into their strengths again. This next map pick is make or break for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I mean, let's talk about Bobo, because we just saw on the stage, he was like, my mission here is not just to be some cute story that we made it this far. It's to win the whole thing, right? Sign this man, as we keep on saying. Bobo being the big ticket maker. You know, Adam, I do like the Adam Warlock there, but I want to see him on those big time heroes, right, that can take the difference.
It feels that is a big like win condition for these guys, but they must be thinking that we haven't seen a team basically full hold on first and then lose in that fashion, right? Because they felt that full holding, even though it was like 60% on the board for Na'Vi, that would be enough, realistically, that they could cross that threshold. So the energy that is like, oh, we might actually win this map, to then losing it, you go from like high octane right down to the curb. And like you said, there's only one map left, potentially, that they need to get their act together on. They have to dig deep.
Dig deep, exactly. They need to really play to their strengths here. You know, they've got a selection ahead of them. What map is going to be stronger for ChopperMag right now? They've had a bit of a mixed bag on a few of the maps. You know, I think one map where they really could take it to Na'Vi is Midtown, because Na'Vi, they've looked mortal on Midtown. They've lost both times they've been taken to it so far. ChopperMag, you know, a bit of a mixed bag. They've had a couple of wins, a couple of losses on Midtown, but it could play to their strengths on a map like that.
Finding hometown advantage there, the Australians at America, New York, if you will, there for those maps. And yes, Ryan, listen, when you look at Na'Vi, they're just so experienced. I mean, this is quite literally the perfect example of the David Goliath, because you have the winner, right, of the entire midseason versus this team, the dream to come together. For me, Sky and what she's been able to do for the team of Na'Vi as well, I think is a big advantage just to get, you know, these guys ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically all of this preparation at this point. And we did hear from Bobo in that interview yesterday that there were a couple of teams that did scrim them when the majority were like, we're not going to bother with Oceanic like scrims, we're going to focus on getting EMEA Americas. ChopperMag were like, it was Citadel Gaming and Na'Vi that did scrim them. So I don't think the Na'Vi in this series are going to get caught by surprise in the same way that so many other teams were. It's almost like the Grim Reapers of this event, you know, in the meme of the doors being painted as ChopperMag have knocked out team after team. It feels like that might be a bit of a hard door to break down for Na'Vi, because they know exactly how to prep for these teams and they are just unflappable.
Yeah, funny enough you say that, and I feel like that's what Na'Vi at the time, Rad, brought against all the other teams in the midseason, right? It was, here's this comp that it wasn't exactly the meta, it was more the LAN meta that developed, and ultimately is how do teams adjust to that, and we saw them take it all home because of it, right?
Actually, it's funny because there was a couple of the Dark Zero guys in the green room watching, and they were saying before, like, actually the read for ChopperMag, like, they have a really good read of the meta. Like, this isn't some cheesy strat that they keep doing of just getting Bobo to hold W and slingshot himself into the backline. It is a lot of effort, a lot of coordination to make this work, and teams just aren't prepared to deal with that kind of pace. Na'Vi, because we have Citadel, we have the likes of Chopped, we have some really aggressive teams in EMEA, they're very used to shutting this down, especially, trust me, that's going to be sat in the center for Na'Vi, IGL, and he knows how to really make sure that the draft for ChopperMag can't succeed.
Regardless, Matsy, what I've learned from this LAN, even if we do say goodbye to Chopper here, is that OCE deserves more eyeballs on that region. They've been having one team come through, and time again, ground zero before, now it is ChopperMag. Would love to see it, as I'm sure you see all the action.
Oh, I've seen all the action. I've seen this team build themselves up from the ground up, and they have been absolutely putting on a thrilling show, but it looks like we're about to break it down, Cozy.
Yeah, so funny enough, Midtown is where we are going to be located. That's going to be the destination right now, the location, Atlanta, Georgia. First bands up. We'll see if we get away with another Mantis this time around. It's going to be Mantis for Na'Vi on the ban, and yet again, ChopperMag, they feel fine. Go ahead, save the Mantis where you want the Jeff out.
I think Na'Vi can sort of sit with the one-sided Mantis. It did look a little bit more mortal on Central Park. We're trying to go for more of the like triple strategist composition. Having the Loki's good. If you sort of lock in the Mantis one-sided, it could work, but it's also a pure payload map, right? Convoy. So having the Emma Frost that cements, basically holds down the barrier, right? To be able to keep pushing, you could run the triple Vanguard if you want. Just seems to sit so nicely in various compositions.
If I'm ChopperMag here, we saw what FlyQuest did against Na'Vi. Listen, the Emma save, it's fine for me. What they do well is those dive comp heroes, and so I want them to attack the Venom, attack the Captain America here, as we see yet the Mantis being banned, all right? If they want to save Emma, which to me, I would almost save the Mantis here, but we are going to get just copies of the Emma saved by both teams. That's going to help out a bit, because when one team has, you know, Mother and the other doesn't, definitely changes things, Matsy.
Yeah, Mother's home on both sides this time, but Rocket is going to be zoned out by a Na'Vi here, so going to deny a little bit of that BRB potential, and It's going to be an interesting change-up coming through on the double down here, but I'm curious what the priority is for Na'Vi. Do they shut down some of the more high mobility vanguards into this one, and will they shut down Zenstari's Angela? Like,
Yeah.
a lot for it.
I think Jeff was a clear one, not only because there's a couple of maps where you can spit people off the map, but the Sharknado, Citadel Gaming sort of made it very popular on a lot of these pure convoy maps.
Yeah.
Psylocke, it seems that Cherokee is going to be the target to focus on, but the draft looking a little bit different in regards to some of the individual characters that are picked out from Na'Vi, but they still want to make sure that they get those flagship characters for their team.
Oh, this is what I wanted to see. We just had Bobo, on the Adam Warlock. I want to see Bobo on this Psylocke with Emma saved as well. They're going to have access to the Echoes, right? To that amazing team up. We've seen what Zenstari can do on Magneto. We'll see if that goes and makes its way through. Potentially here as we wrap things up from the bottom of Na'Vi. Matty, last save. Who are they going to go for?
Ooh, who are they going to go for right now? This one, do they focus up on one of their key vanguards here? Do they make sure they can maintain course? It's going to be Rocket, actually kept on deck here. They do not want to have that one chopped away from them. I can understand, they want to play into that BRB potential should the need arise. But now they're going to rise up for one last ban here for ChopperMag.
Right, not a lot of strategists. ChopperMag to be able to play. You can see the strategy coming to light here for Na'Vi. Last ban for Chopper. Who do you think?
It's going to be Venom, just to stop some of the dive. Like, trust me, he's so well coordinated with the rest of the team, but I do like the one-sided rocket. Not only will you have Be Right Back on the defense eventually, but when you think of okay, if Bobo wants to play on the Psylocke, you don't want to have him damage boost it as well, right? Make sure that that's not available because it is just giving Bobo the ball, I guess is probably the best way to describe it.
Upsets, they best brew, of course, here in the grand finals, but to get that job started, ChopperMag needs a win in Midtown as we find ourselves coming to what could be their last hope, if you will. We got amazing casters to break it all down. ChopperMag versus Na'Vi. Let's go.
Thank you, my friends, as we start up. Game point here for Na'Vi. ChopperMag backs against the wall. Can they battle back? We'll find out shortly.
Shib, I am pumped, ready to go for this upcoming map. Crowd, are you guys ready? This is gonna be a heck of a match between ChopperMag and Na'Vi right now. ChopperMag, their mental could be in the gutter, Shib. I mean, you gotta look at it that way. Right now, that last map was in their hands, ripped away from them, dude. Like, going into this map, they have to pick the right one, and they're going to Midtown. And this is gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
You have that triple composition that we've seen so much here on Midtown. And the fight begins right now, electing to stay in this building. We've seen in the past, countered out here by Squirrel Girl, a very rare pick, but does seem to work for that specific strategy. Crystal's gonna get popped now, and they are gonna elect to drop backwards. Walls for days everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're just kind of waiting to the other side. They don't want to hard contest it. They already gave up that around the corner spawn, so it makes a lot of sense for ChopperMag to not fully engage on it. Na'Vi surrounding, building up towards that hand of Conchu with Naga. He's built it so quickly. You know how fast this character, Moon Knight, can build it up. He already has it ready, tosses it out.
And it lands, and it does find two on a Bobo and Zenstari, and there is no ult available to bring them back. Portal play gonna have to come through here to fight by ambulance to ensure 3 fights, but what an attack here by Na'Vi.
Yeah, Na'Vi at the moment just setting up for that fight. There really wasn't anything to counteract it. ChopperMag on the back foot. They could have reached in domain, but they used it earlier. Portal out for a fast push towards the ambulance side.
And the fight begins again. Skittles holding onto that copy. The God of Mischief now is utilized and actually held as we see a huge triangling prison matched up here by the Omega Hurricane, and everyone is low, but they do escape for the moment with a great cape. And now everybody is still holding on tight, but being driven backwards. Rajaro taking that height, trying to get a few trans here with the Psionic. Nobody seems to be walking that way for the current moment.
That was a hard one, too. He had the rocket back off the Raccoon Eye. Okamoto connected for Pethig, and he finds Jerky, but it's traded by Fate.
And back and forth as Trust Me now finds Pethig. Bobo gonna be switching up here, gets a 2-piece out of Trust Me and Naga, and there's that Psylocke we've grown to know and love from Bobo, but Fate shuts that down after the 2-piece.
I mean, the vanguards of ChopperMag trying to prioritize the objective, resulting in one of the members of the backline going down. Fate does get grabbed, but he's okay for now. They also throw the Terra Cape, so regen domain forced on ChopperMag's side. Portal also built up. Hand of Conchu available for Naga. They don't have regen domain for this.
Yeah, and they are gonna lose Zenstari here from Jerky with a 2-piece now on a Skittles on the retake as Duet takes out Jerky, but Pethig's in a dangerous spot, is gonna fall there from Crook, and Trust Me on a Bobo, and that should be point 1.
I'm a little worried right now for ChopperMag. I mean, that was such a fast take from Na'Vi after we've seen every single team, you know, really struggle on that first point, especially versus these 3-3 comps. Naga ready to switch. He's in the spawn, back over to the Bucky, seeing ChopperMag switching off of their defensive hold comp, going back traditional 2-2-2. He gives up Panic on you. We already know that ultimate is really strong with Storm, but they get off of the Storm, they swap over to the Phoenix, and now they're over traditional, just front to back style. Trust me on Cap to harass the backline and let Rajaro pop off on Emma Frost, because in the fan phase, he got that through.
Yeah, there's a good strategy to switching up your hero after taking a point and now coming in and forcing the team to figure out a new way to counter you, as Trust Me is already peppering the backline with a slapped in America. Zenstari with some walls behind. Out goes that Terra Cape to blind. Everybody is low, but we will see a potential huge ult here with the Groot hug, but that one does get countered by the invisible boundary from Crook.
Yeah, they're walking back into it. Ultimate's built up, ready to go, except Trust Me, they're able to connect onto Pethic. Jerky, huge pick off from him. They walk into a Fate of the World connected by Skittles with the God of Mischief. So with that, they walk up to the middle of the point. They also have Fidel. So this is going to be a long one. Na'Vi, they built up that Cloak and Dagger ultimate, going aggressive with that Eternal Bond.
Yeah, they're going to count to 10 and then commit fully after that dance floor starts slowing down. But now Fidel going to make sure and use that dance floor as Naga takes out Skittles. The reset comes through. That's a two-piece now for Naga, who's looking for more as Fidel falls. And both strategists now for ChopperMag are out of here. Duep, goodbye. Zenstari, goodbye. Pethic gets one on the trade, but at this point, numbers are heavily on the side of Na'Vi.
Goodness, Jerky, dude. Jerky's been so good. They're in third phase already, Shib. I mean, they're trying to put the nail in the coffin right now as Na'Vi could secure a 3 over ChopperMag. For ChopperMag's side, they need to figure things out. And right now, the answer for them is the composition. They're putting Pethic to Daredevil, and they're going Fidel to Ultron. You know, we've talked to the analyst desk about this. Moxie keeps bringing it up, and I'm sure a lot of our crowd notices whenever Ultron is played, because of the nerfs in the recent patch, dude, like, it feels like the team that switches to Ultron is really panicking. Na'Vi could maybe smell blood in the water, and Jeffs were moved on both sides, so no Sharks to answer it.
Yeah, with the removal in terms of the meta of Human Torch, Ultron, and just the changes in his kit, has definitely knocked him down a peg or two in this meta. Fidel making that switch though, gonna keep the pressure on. Not a ton of damage dealt just yet. Bobo holding on to that dance as level 1. Crook takes out Duep, putting them again up a number. Why not 2? As Zenstari falls to Rajaro. And oh my goodness, Na'Vi cannot be stopped. Fate gonna find Pethic, and they are continuing this momentum.
ChopperMag is collapsing right now, dude. Like 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. They need something. Bobo, he could be that answer, but they have the invisible boundary. Bobo needs to connect onto a crazy combination onto a backline with a left click, right click dash, but he's gonna have to do it now versus Na'Vi, who have everything in the bank.
Yeah, Na'Vi have not stopped rolling. The train is moving, and they cannot stop it. Here comes the engagement. Out goes that Psionic. The dance of the butterfly gonna find Naga early on as Bobo gets one. Here comes that feast. Will that land on the back line? It does. There goes that 30% reduction in healing with a good escape there. And Pethic now gonna retake once more on that Daredevil we've seen success from in the past. There goes that Let the Devil Out, chasing down everybody. Rajaro falls. That's a second, third, fourth. Why don't you from Pethic, followed up by Zenstari and Bobo.
That's the life they needed. Nobody's also on the flank, so you don't have to worry about a Dark Zero. Sorry, I mean a C9. At the moment, Na'Vi, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go on the clock. I mean, they have so much time at the bank against ChopperMag, who, you know, maybe they can start to string things together here, Ship. They have ultimates, but both of their duelists with the ult are gone.
And that was the momentum shift they needed. They are up in ultimates now. They've got to make sure they do not overcommit, because that has been a tough look so far over these last few matches. Looks like Na'Vi is just putting on a clinic here up on the high side. Fidel falls there from the switch up as Naga does have that Kraken impact available.
Oh,
dance floor as Naga gets a pick again onto Duep, trying to pepper the backline.
That was a huge pick. I mean, the healing is not there right now. Everything is on Skittles. He pops maybe a dance floor in a moment because Fate's using his. ChopperMag with his backline of Ultron in the Luna Snow need to keep him alive, but they can't.
Yeah, the ult comes through just a little bit too late there from Skittles as Naga gets 2. Jerky now onto Fidel. The idea was to hold that ult to make sure it's even better, but when you lose that many bodies, it's just going to just inevitably make you lose, but slower as we see Jerky take out Skittles. Rajaro onto Bobo, and Na'Vi have not skipped a beat.
No, I mean, this is looking over at the moment for ChopperMag. Duep goes down. They try to touch, but it's against the Sonic Seduction from Rajaro, who is trying to put them all inside the grave. Na'Vi caps out 1 minute and 17 on the clock. It's a blazing fast time for this map.
Yeah, that was insane to witness. I'm telling you what, Na'Vi is looking so good over these last 3 maps. Granted, they did not get that push there on Central Park through point 1, but even after that, just was awoken and just stuffed them even faster. So We got to see if ChopperMag can find their footing, because at this current moment, it looks like they're panicking.
They are. Right now, you see them, the look in their eyes, hopefully determined, right? Constantly talking to each other, figuring it out. You can see they talked about it, but it was a tough map, right? The answer not there. You can see they're trying everything, because if you take back a look at the ban phase, like it was all trying to just ban, focusing on Emma Frost as protecting the Psylocke. And you know, we talked to JMac, right? JMac mentioned behind the scenes, Bobo wants certain things banned, like Venom and all these other heroes protected, but you know, he feels confident in JMac, the coach of ChopperMag, feels very confident in Bobo on the Psylocke. You need to buy him time, Ship. That's the #1 thing. Bobo and Pethic weren't playing bad. It's just they were collapsing. There wasn't a moment where they could do much because their vanguards would go down, their backline would use a ultimate at a hard time, and it was just a tough map, I think, for the duelists to really do much. We'll see on this map as they could evolve, maybe as they have time to talk during this little pause that they have, they could figure something out. But like we mentioned, back against the wall, we see Na'Vi do well with it. Can ChopperMag take the momentum in the last map? Because at the moment, their tournament life is on the line. Chip, Na'Vi are looking to close out, trying to repeat the mid-season finals.
This is an attack-sided map, as we see Bobo now on that Iron Fist, which has had success here in the past from OUG, who looked very strong with Lolan. But now we'll see if that can work here. There's going to be a switch-up as we see Blade being played by Pethic, which I thought was going to be changed up.
You mentioned Awoken. He is here. Blade in the previous, a few games ago was released, or a few patches ago was released. Now he's here, fully awakened.
And there's a good combo here with the 1,000 cuts coming in with that strangling prison. That may be the idea of what they want to do to burn through some of these strategist backlines. We will see if we see that combo shortly. 45% on there for Pethic, now in the 50s, and Starry about at 70. They're really walking them towards this backline, but Groot struggles into Angela here from Trust Me, who's just consistently messing with the space.
And they're able to push this card, though. That's the most important thing. If they don't lose any build ults, so ults are available for Na'Vi so soon, but they don't have any. They can take advantage. Got a mission pop by Skittles, waiting to use that ult.
Then Starry, a very strong Groot now is out goes. Some answers. The dance floor mapped to the invisible boundary. The 1,000 cuts available. Now Zen Starry, the combo goes out. Can they burn through it? And they do, as Pethic with the first successful Blade ultimate yet in this tournament.
They're all brought back by Naga, though, on the opposite angle. Do they have anything for it? Ults up. What goes down?
Yeah, that is a huge res again, but that just countered multiple ults. When you get that res through and it's successful, and you commit a ton to find those picks early on, it's just more and more value for the defensive side of Na'Vi.
Yeah, Fate waiting to pop that. See you later. Throws it into the back line towards that cafe angle. They come back with that dance floor with the web, but the meteor from Jerky could be huge. It misses in the meantime. Nice shot blocking it. Bobo with the ult on the backside flank. Can he get rid of Fate on this Rocket Raccoon?
Insane movement there by Fate. Is Zen Starry going to get a two-piece on a Naga? Trust me, make it 3 and 4. Why don't you, Zen Starry? Going to sweep. Fate trying to buy time on point, and that's exactly how you should get KO'd. Right on that card so it don't move.
ChopperMag at the moment. They need to get going, and we mentioned Duep earlier starting off that fight chip. We'll see if they can do it now on the defensive sort of push, but the time I think was more for Na'Vi at this point. Doesn't matter for ChopperMag, however. They can try to close out on Na'Vi coming back into this fight. They do have invisible boundary. They have a few other ults as well, as Rajaro coming up on their own. Maybe with the rocket pack, Rajaro can set something up, but ChopperMag were able to avoid it last time.
We need to see that combo once more here by Groot and Blade, and that will happen shortly, I do believe. Waiting for a moment to make it valuable. At least they're taking the space. Now Pethic gonna commit, and it does find one with a commitment of Bobo. Pethic showing up here with Blade, showing how successful it can be. Every hero viable at the current moment as Naga reses right back, but is still in danger here from Pethic, who is fully charged up.
Man, this Blade is looking clean at the moment. Pethic, the king of the unknown, coming into a hero that hasn't been played at all this tournament. ChopperMag now into the second segment of the map. 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. Na'Vi again staved off for now. We saw that the res was used by Naga. He goes over to Star-Lord. They don't have that anymore.
Yeah, and this is a good change in pace here. I'm going to be honest, if you had asked me what the solution would be, I don't think I would have said this, but it's clearly working for the moment as Bobo is now going to be switching off that fist and is on the Psylocke, applying a ton of pressure towards that back line.
The BRB's to his left. Does he see it? He walked right by it. Oh my goodness, it's in that corner, so they're going to have a res available.
Trust me, now is have that freedom charge available. Might stall point as Rajaro takes out Bobo early on. The whole team dropping back into the building here, and the space is now retaken by Na'Vi, who will dance around this cart all day long. Duep at a dangerous spot as Rajaro almost finds one. Strangling prison comes through. Is there a combination? There's not quite yet. A ton of damage out, but Trust Me gonna be the one to find a pick as Rajaro gets the second. Wow, what a turnaround.
Great read. Overall macro, we talked to many players, Mega Balani from Dark Zero being one of them, the manager of Dark Zero. Rajaro gave up on that final hit he could possibly get to come back and save his team. Bobo comes back in though with those hero plays, connecting on Trust Me towards the spawn.
Alts are going to be slightly in the favor of ChopperMag here, who have that combination again. Bobo does have that Dance of the Butterfly available for the backline. The dance floor is up for Fidel. The damage boost here from Fade can combine with Naga to be a huge threat. And trust me, might use that Freedom Charge to protect, and that's a huge ult here by Zen. That is copied in, smashed right through by Pethig and Duep. What a combination once again.
And this time it can't be resurrected. However, Jerky with the damage boost to the ceiling, able to find one. Bobo, though, in the neutral, able to kind of connect online. This is the tough part with dealing with ChopperMag, is you have to deal with the star players of this team. Fidel able to find him, though. He's been getting better throughout the tournament. Rajaro and him both fall, or Jerky both fall. 2 minutes left to go, Shibin. Going into the third point now. We need to see if they can collapse, right? They just used that combination. Like you said, that was a huge combo, huge fight win, but without that ult, they got to figure something out. Bobo needs to do something out early. No strat ults on the opposite side. They do have Freedom Charge. Bobo needs to go early, but does he know? Is he ready for Naga? Almost deleting him, sends him back to the main side.
Senstar is just hitting huge ultimates here, these huge strangling prisons. Duep going to commit at the moment with the Psionic, and there is that return. We see the ult not work as Jerky with a Kraken impact finds Pethig. Is there going to be more on the reset as Naga is available here to start up here with the Galactic Legend? Just going to burn some of these clones from Skittles, so the healing is reduced. Bobo now ulting up the backline with the dance of the Cutterfly, finds one. Make it two, Bobo, why don't you? Yes, there is three, as they are still moving this cart forward and almost taking point two. Will it come through? It looks like it will, as they do get point two.
Yeah, that was a huge fight win. Portal by Pethig used, though. That's going to be interesting. It's still going to be up in cooldown-wise at the end of the game, but regardless, Pethig trying to go aggressive, right? He was trying to play towards that backside. That fight wasn't about him. Him going down was definitely big, but regardless, it was about Bobo. He goes back to spawn to switch. Navi at the moment on the defense, switching up Naga, going off Star-Lord, going to the Phoenix. That was going to be a hard fight to win for Navi regardless, because they didn't have strat ults. They only had Captain America. ChopperMag now can set up that combo soon, but Pethig only 50% towards that blade ult.
ChopperMag will have to fight in OT for about 30 seconds for that portal to come through. So yes, it could definitely come back, but it's still a little dicey here as Rajaro starting up with the Psionic. It's Zenstari walking, no one else at the moment. Jerky trying to take this space back. Is another strangling prison is massive. Can they combine with it? Not at the moment, as it's matched right back with the invisible boundary. Ton of damage on the Zenstari. Bang! Down goes that Kraken. Jerky looking for more with a reset on clone. We will see it. Bang again, but that one does not. Oh, it does get reset. That is disgusting. Somebody stop him! He's just built a little bit different here. Jerky, what a play.
He really is, and at the moment, Navi, hold on. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go. That combo was just used. Two ships, and Starry committed the Strangling Prison. Skittles committed the God of Mischief. Pethig now only having that ult without anything. Maybe they could set it up with Sonic Seduction. That's the angle. Bobo is well on the flank, but you still have a lot of space to work with for Navi. 2 fights for them.
We will start up again with another fight here, likely a Psionic from Duep to try to commit some ultimates. There it is. Good usage of the invisible shield there to hide the whole team from getting trans. Trust me, going to use that shield from Cap to do the same. Bobo commits now as the 1,000 cuts comes through, and that's another two-piece with an ultimate combination you maybe don't see every day. Phoenix coming in with the Unsung Inferno. Goodbye to all those shields at the moment. Rajaro taking out Fidel, puts them up. As Zenstari now turns it back onto Naga. Is there more here on the side of Navi, or this one go to ChopperMag as everybody's duking it out? Fate gonna find Bobo, and again Navi up in number. Trust me, onto Skittles. 45 seconds on, and ChopperMag's got to bounce back now, or they will be kicked out of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for them, I mean, OT's not going to matter. They'll still have attack on offense if something happens. Nice grab to slow down. Trust me, he goes down to Fidel. They're coming back into it. Maybe they can set up and engage onto Navi. As we're entering maybe last fight territory, ultimate's available, but Pethig switches over to the Daredevil. Maybe he can go aggressive with Bobo. That changeup is going to be huge, but Jerky, he has Kraken impacted. He's been big before.
See if that works now. There is going to be a lot of commitment in this fight. Starting up here once again, Psionic Seduction. Nobody trans at the moment, and they are still gonna retake with another huge ultimate. Match right back with the boundary. Bobo gonna find one. Duep on a level 1 crook. Pethig and Bobo. Can they retake this? Push this to 3 and push this to overtime. We will find out shortly, as they will need to touch. Overtime is here, making some of these spawns a little bit longer.
Trust me, the only one affected by it, fortunately for the squad of Navi, they're going to full stall, man. They're going to Iron Fist to touch.
And there goes the block, and there goes the crystals. Cooldowns are being burned. Can they find a pick early on? As Rajaro's dancing in the sky, they're doing a great job on this retake. Navi able to stall, but Duep takes out Naga. Will that put them up a number enough to win this and take this to overtime. Bobo with that dance is available, waiting for them to push out. And here comes the commitment from Bobo, who's not able to get anything in that backline. Duep takes out Rajaro, and the fights are still continuing as the dance floor is on point. As Pethic now, the lawyer from Hell's Kitchen. Will they find more? The ult gets committed. Yes, at this moment they will, but the touch is still there. It will not end as the crystals are still going through, and Duep finds a pick onto Jerky. Are you kidding me? Duep with 2, and the dance in the sky from Angela to stall, but that will be shut down, and we will be going to overtime.
If you can hear it, the crowd is starting to come alive. If you're coming to DreamHack Atlanta in this match, this is going to be the one you want to watch, right? If you come around, if you're walking around DreamHack in general, make sure you come on by. You've even seen some of the moms. Oh, that's lovely from ChopperMag. Knowing her own son has a chance to take home $1 million, Shib, or be a part of at least $120,000 because that's first place. But whew, that was a good one, Shib. That was a fun one, and we still have more to go on this map. ChopperMag is showing life.
Yeah, and it's all about immortality here. Your goal is to try to push in as deep into this tournament as you can, because that gives you notoriety, not only for organizations, but for the prize pool, which is ever increasing. And this overtime is going to be intense, folks, as we see ChopperMag starting off here on the attack.
Let's set things up right. Taking a look at all of these players. I mean, there's stories behind every single one of them, right? We have Fidel coming over in the top left of ChopperMag side from this team, or into this team's roster instead of Salvation because they needed a fill player. And now that they're getting this far in the tournament, that's just one of the 12 players competing here. Every single one of them, even players back at home that have competed in thousands of hours of tournamentship, competing in countless matches online. Some of them didn't make it, right? ChopperMag did. Na'Vi did, and they could potentially close out on ChopperMag here unless ChopperMag comes alive on their attack. And if you are a ChopperMag fan, you're going to want to give them some noise and some hype as they get ready to go against Na'Vi.
Blade mains rejoice here as the MVP is currently in the hands of Pethic. Bobo going to be on that fist, taking the space. A tank buzzer, a Vanguard buster here is Pethic now just trying to build that ultimate, and that is the goal here with Blade. Be ready to combine as Skittles on the sticks, on the controller here. The most healing in the lobby at the moment. The walls go up here from Zenstari, and again, the side of Na'Vi is going to hold in that space indoors.
At the moment, Ultimate's being built right now. That's the number one thing, right? Who's close to falls low? He's been a star player for this team. He's going to need to come online, but hasn't been involved. Trust me, deals with Bobo on the back.
That's another pick for Na'Vi. We'll drop them back towards the spawn door. 18 seconds on. You've got to touch with 3. Level 1 Crook gonna find Duep. 14 seconds now as Naga and Jerky get 2. The reset comes in here from Jerky again, and you've got 8 seconds.
8 seconds to go. Bobo switches to Psylocke. He's going to have to touch last second. Overtime will tick down. You have the Kraken impact set up by a no.
Oh, wow.
The clone is still there.
So smart. So smart. That reset will be available. The portal's going to come through so they can go through on the touch. Bobo does commit for that touch now, but Duep's in a dangerous spot. Overtime is ticking down. Ever faster now as it's low, and out goes a huge strangling prison. The 1,000 cuts committed as well. Will they be able to burst through? They do. Duep finds one. Can they keep it going? The dance floor is mapped out by Fidel, and they are off the point, but just barely holding on here from Duep.
Naga brings them back into the flank. Jerky finds on 1, fade on the Fidel 2, and no, ChopperMag can stop before Duep even has an Eye of Agamotto. Na'Vi closes out, and it's done, at least for now. Na'Vi holds against ChopperMag.
Na'Vi going to be coming into this attack with 2 minutes and 17 compared to that 1 minute from the opposition of ChopperMag. That should give them enough of an advantage as it was only 1 turn and 1 fight needed to win this.
Right now, ChopperMag. Their backs have never been more against the wall. They're pinned right now against Na'Vi. Na'Vi on the opposite angle have 2 minutes to work with. That is a huge time bank in. This team has resilience, right? Picking up Jerky, that was the question mark for this team. We have no more questions. Jerky's a top player in the world right now, Shib, and you can see they have come together around the leader, and trust me, when it mattered most, right? Everybody might have been doubting Na'Vi. We heard scrim results weren't going the best before this tournament, but now, in the group stages, they looked unbeatable, except against FlyQuest. Now, today, in the playoffs, they're looking unbeatable once again. ChopperMag have to overcome an incredible mountain right now.
The tensions are high, folks, as we battle in this overtime. 61.9 meters is all it takes to move forward. Will Na'Vi be able to shut this down and take home the W, or will ChopperMag push this to our next match?
Right now, ChopperMag starting it out, right? They have to hold against Naga, who built up that hand of Conchu incredibly fast alongside the Storm, and what Jerky switches to. They just need one fight. Portal's going to be pretty late from ChopperMag, but there's no overtime spawns at least.
It's difficult to play indoors like that against Naga here on this Moon Knight, which can deal so much area damage already at 20% in climbing, but it's going to be looking towards Zen Star. The team going to relocate here to not allow Moon Knight to do what Moon Knight does. Out goes that bond from Bobo, who's going to use that res to try to keep the team there, but down goes Bobo, down goes Pathic Duep, and it looks like Na'Vi are going to keep this walking. That's another pick as they're walking from Zen Starry goes down, and again, Naga looking so good. Pathic's got to get this portal here quickly.
He has to. They're waiting till you pop the cocoon, but it might be too late, and it is. Bobo and crew, ChopperMag have been eliminated. Na'Vi move on to tomorrow. They move on, or tonight, sorry, in just a second, to fight another day. You can see, obviously, the crowd incredibly happy and proud of their crew for very good reason. They're putting on a good show, a good performance. And on the opposite side, same for ChopperMag, Shib. I mean, I feel, we watched the interview at the halftime show on our desk with Cozy, with Ryan, with XQC, and I was moved to tears, and I'm just remembering of that interview of Bobo, man. Like, it's genuinely sad. Like, seeing him go home, I might cry here, Shib. This is, like, insane.
Yeah, ChopperMag, a team that I have no doubt we will see again in the future. Na'Vi, our mid-season Worlds champs, are proceeding forward now to 100 Thieves. The battle to progress further in this tournament will be coming up shortly.
And it's tough for Na'Vi. We can talk about them later. They just won, right? They'll be in the next match, so don't worry about them. Their story is not finished. On the opposite side for ChopperMag, right? They are done for now, going home, but they were an unsigned team, right? Just to point it out, they shouldn't have made it this far. It's the same thing with Iconics earlier on. They were from Open Division, Open qualifiers, in the second qualifier at that. Same thing for ChopperMag. They had no right to be here, but they were here, and they were one of the best teams at this tournament, and that is known for all of our audience today.
Absolutely, and I have no doubt a ton of new fans are looking forward to seeing this organization, and somebody sign this team.
Really, I mean, I was joking with Tasmo. I was like, Tasmo, just sign them. You just lost your team. They're gone. Just make them NB International. I don't know, Shiv. It was an incredible match, a fun one, and I can't wait to see our desk later talk about it.
Yes.
Na'Vi still moving forward. Obviously, the victors of today.
Yeah.
They won the midseason coming in to Na'Vi, a new brand, right? A new entire organization backing them, and they look as good as ever. Going against ChopperMag, back against the wall. I would be scared if I was against Na'Vi right now, because at the moment they look so good.
Yeah, and they're now, right off this heater of insane play, are going directly into 100 Thieves, who have had a little bit of a break. The conversation now is, will this warm-up situation for them work out against 100 Thieves, or are they a little tired mentally? I will tell you, though, they really look so clean. 3 straight W's. Maybe they'll keep that ball rolling.
One more match today, Shiv. Na'Vi is going to have to play it, and they've had a really hard schedule, man. I mean, back-to-back matches coming into this next one. They're going to have to beat an incredibly good team in 100 Thieves, who have the backing of the crowd, I'm assuming. And Na'Vi, unlike Citadel, aren't necessarily villains per se, because they won the midseason. They have a lot of fans, and huge shout out to Citadel for really showing a lot of emotion in that previous series too. They are an incredibly good team as well, as great players too. It's just a lot of players are talkative and on social media that definitely can bite you in the butt, but regardless, Na'Vi moving forward, showing that EU is still in it alongside some of these other top teams.
These teams are both clutch too, right? We are going to be tossing it over to an interview, though, before we dive into this next match. Let's see what they've got to say.
What a series. I am here with Jerky from Na'Vi. I want to start off with lower bracket run. Not unfamiliar for Na'Vi, but you're newer on this roster. You've not been through this before. You've not been through this incredibly taxing event. How are you holding up?
I mean, obviously it's not what we wanted, but it's what we've experienced before, what they've experienced before, so it's not out of our comfort zone whatsoever, and we'll make it work. We'll be there in the finals for sure.
So you were actually full held in Game 2 and also got triple pushed in Game 3 by a Blade. Let's start with Game 2. What went wrong where you were full held, but you actually were able to full held it, but slightly more?
I think we kind of tunnel visioned onto one comp, because that comp is really strong. We have the Loki, we have the Mantis, and we have the Adam. It's a really, really strong comp, so we kind of tunnel vision, didn't want to swap one of the strongest heroes around. So that was kind of our issue. But we were still very optimistic. We said, like, guys, I mean, we have the best comp in the game. We can full hold them just the way they full held us. So yeah. Talking about the Blade, yeah, crazy. I mean, I've never seen it in pro play. Shout out to Pething for pulling it out. I mean, they're a really, really strong team coming on from Oceania, and I mean, all props to them, man. All props to them.
So your next opponent, 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves out there, they have been here before as well. They have also been running through a lower bracket run in the past. You've faced them in the groups already. Is it going to go the same way?
I think it will. I mean, I don't want to sound too egotistical, I guess, but I think we're fighting for a top 2, top 1 spot here, and I don't think anyone else is going to stop us here.
And some final words out there to the audience. Na'Vi, once again, continuing to make a lower bracket run. What do you have to say to everyone watching at home?
I mean, I hope you guys are enjoying the show, because it just started, and it's about to get even better.
More to come from Na'Vi. They play again in just a few minutes. Just need time to go get yourself some rest, go join your team, and we're going to head over to the analysis desk to continue the breakdown of this game.
The Daywalker made an appearance, and the heart of the MEA shines through, my friends.